Live streaming is on.
Greetings and welcome to Stunt Hangar Video Hangouts. My name is Charles Carter, and I will be your host this evening. I want to extend to you my gratitude for you watching Stunt Hangar Video Hangouts. If you are watching this as a replay, I want you to know that I host these YouTube live streams every Monday and Friday evening, starting at 6:45 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So please make a note of this so you can watch or be part of the live stream. Plus, we have an after party following the live stream, which is sometimes better than the live stream portion. You must be a registered Stunt Hangar Forum member to find the link to attend the after party. Here at Stunt Hangar Video Hangouts, we talk about building and flying model airplanes, sport flying, competition flying, and what you've been doing lately. To join our conversation, if you are already a member of Stunt Hangar Forum, you can find the link, if you scroll down to the section called At the Bench. Now, if you're not a member, please register at stunthangar.com/SMF. That's S as in sunset, M as in Mike, F as in Foxtrot. You must place a space between your real first and last name when you register. You must also use a valid email address or Sparky. The proprietor of Stunt Hangar will not approve you. If you are inclined to not come in and just enjoy watching us on YouTube, wonderful, fantastic. Please enter your questions or comments in the chat box, and I'll do my best to make your comments a part of the show. Now, understand, sometimes I can't even get a word in myself, so be patient. I will ask our illustrious panel your question or state your comment. Now, if you find the Stunt Hangar Video Hangouts or the many building videos that Sparky does on this platform informative and enjoyable, please give us a thumbs up. Subscribe and share the videos. So when I say on the show, give us a like, I'm talking about giving us a thumbs up. And that helps the channel grow. Please consider also joining our YouTube channel memberships starting at $4.99 a month, which is less than 17 cents a day. Your support helps offset some of the expenses of running Stunt Hangar. And with your memberships, you get special badges I can see in the YouTube chat, unlimited replay of member-only videos, and once a month, Sparky has a question and answer show for members only. You can also use the super chat, which is located in the bottom of the chat box, to make donations. Now, you have to be here on the live show to see the super chat. So please, again, make a note of this, that we do this every Monday and Friday night around 6:45 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, so you can make your donations. And I want to thank you for your past, your present, and future support. We really appreciate it. And we want to ask you to please keep the conversations family room friendly. In other words, don't use words you wouldn't say around your children and grandchildren. And without any further ado, I'm going to turn my attention to another screen. And I'm going to post the link at the Stunt Hangar Forum. It's posted. Now it's posted. And let me see what's going on in the live stream. We don't have anybody there yet, but I expect to have somebody there pretty soon. We have 2 viewers, so thank you very much. And actually, we have 5 viewers right now and 2 likes or 2 thumbs up. So if you haven't given us a thumbs up yet, if you're one of those 6 people now, please hit the thumbs up button. Sooner or better. Sooner is better, what I'm trying to say. And if you're watching this as a replay, please give us a thumbs up, because it's amazing how many views we get and disproportionate amount of people do not hit the thumbs up. We have more people during the live stream with a smaller viewer count. We get higher likes. So I just really want to encourage you, if you're watching this as a replay, please help the show. Please support it. Please donate. Please subscribe. Please share. And please consider joining our YouTube memberships, which are only $4.99 a month. That's less than 17 cents a day. Now here's Tom Rammel. He says, "You got my like." Thank you very much, Tom. Appreciate that very much. And let me see what's going on in the. I'm gonna go into the 8x8. No one's showing up yet. And let me adjust my camera just a little bit. So I didn't go flying today. I actually started working on an engine. I try to have engines in pairs. I have what's called a K77, and it's K stands for Casminato. He commissioned this motor to be made, and it needed new bearings. At least it needed one new bearing. There's two bearings in there, and one of them was definitely needing replacement. So I ordered some new bearings, but when I took it apart, the bearing that would one of the bearings closest to the crankshaft, I'm trying to say what that part's called, where the weight is, where it's weighted. The bearing was stuck there, and so I've been tapping on it. Put it in the freezer, the bearing and the crankcase in the freezer, and then was tapping it with a brass hammer. So if you're going to tap on your bearing, you don't want to use a regular hammer. You want to use a softer hammer or mallet. And I had a soft small little brass hammer. I was just tapping it, tapping. And over a period of time, I finally got that bearing off. So that's what I've been up to lately. Hopefully, I'll get some other people in here who will share what they've been doing lately. And I can't wait for you guys to get in here so we can talk together. Let's see here. So right now we have 7 concurrent viewers, 5 likes. Thank you very, very much. Let me see what's going on here. I did post the let me just double check if I posted the link correctly. Let me double check. Pretty sure it's posted. Oh, this is correct. Okay. I actually didn't post the link correctly. Let me, the title's not correct, but that might have thrown some people off. Let me fix this momentarily, please. Just bear with me. I got to fix something I did here. Let's see here. Okay, let's see. I'll post this. Okay, it says right there. Let me get the bench. Oh, let me edit this. That's what the problem is. Bear with me. I hate when I have to fix something on the fly. Let's see here. Modify. Okay, here we go. Save. All right, so I reposted the link in Stunt Hangar form at the bench, and it's there. Let me double check. I believe it's correct now. There we go. Has today's date and everything. All right, so here we go. Let me check back to this. All right, Gary Sinclair is knocking. Let me allow him in. Hello, Gary.
Hello.
How are you today?
All right. I didn't know if I was going to get on or not, but
Why is that?
I just was waiting for you to.
Yeah, I posted the link with the wrong title. I guess it just shows that I'm human, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you saw that link I put in there earlier?
It looked different.
Yeah, it was, when I'm setting up the show, I got to copy and paste on the, here we go. Now we're off to the races. Someone else coming in. Who's this? Hey, Phil.
Hey, how are you? What's going on?
Doing
Charles?
well. I'm doing well. What do you got there in your hand?
This is transfer tape, and I'm going to put it on these so I can put them on the humbug, and I'll show you all the humbug in a little bit.
Oh, that'd be great. You going to go down to your shop?
No, I'm going to try to do it right here. It's going to be tough because there's not enough room, but
oh, well, I appreciate it.
Maybe I can put it over there. I don't know. I'll try something. But it's It's a bigger airplane than what I ever thought it was. But I did a whole lot of research on this thing last week or two, and I've discovered that there were 3 of them.
And I'll show you all the humbug in a little bit.
Oh boy, I got some weird reverb here. But anyway, it's a neat plane. I think it's going to be neat anyway. So we'll see what happens.
Hey, Brendan, did you turn off your YouTube feed already?
I'll try something.
Oh, is that what I got going on?
Yeah.
Bigger plane than what I ever thought it was. But,
I think everybody's done that at least once.
There it is. I actually got on to give you a like before getting on.
Thank you.
Well,
Yeah,
I've got to
I
do
didn't
that.
realize
I appreciate that, Brendan. Thank you so much. Because everybody, not everybody, but some people forget to do the likes. You know, they've been on for hours and they go to bed or whatever, and they don't put the like in. But the biggest problem I have is with the replay viewers. They're not really showing us some love. So if you're watching this, before you forget, please hit the thumbs up. Show us some love.
You get a double like from my family because my wife also gets on YouTube and likes you as well as she watches me to see what I'm going to say here. So my love, he's watching right now. I know she is.
Oh, very good. Well, you know what?
That.
My family is downstairs watching Netflix or something else, in their opinion, more interesting.
Yeah. Well, I understand that theory too. But.
Yeah. So it's so what do you got there, Brendan? What plan is that?
I'm just working on my rugged stunt trainer again, and actually something that happened. So my son, we finally have gotten into the 5.5, 6 minute flights, and this is where I've been storing the battery at. This is the first time I've really kind of dug into the wing to try to store. And if you notice, when you get it in here, hold on. When you get the battery in, it's naturally to the outboard wing, so it gives some of the tip weight out there. So I use the weight of the battery to help with that. So I didn't
absolutely
add tip weight. But I thought there was enough pressure in here to keep the battery going. Well, that wasn't the case. We got into about our 5th flight, and then the battery was flopping around on the outside to finish the flight.
Oh, yeah, the centrifugal force pushed it out. And
yeah.
So maybe if you fill that space in that void, then it has no place to go.
Yeah, so I'm going to come up with something tonight, maybe put a piece of Velcro around it, something to fill that up so it doesn't come loose again. So
yeah. Well, I remember there's
sounds like
quite
a
a bit
plan.
of force. That plane's probably going about 50 miles an hour. You know,
Yeah, that battery
so
could definitely get some.
I'm not sure what the math is on that, what the force is, but yeah, you might need to put something physically in there.
yeah. So I don't know if you all saw it on Facebook on the Control Line Facebook page, but I posted it last year. It was hilarious. My it ended up being hilarious. Thankfully, nobody got hurt. But in one of these planes, I modified this little racer plane that my son loves to put in the air, and I put a battery on the outboard wing. Well, it was just rubber bands holding it in. And wouldn't you know, that battery came off in mid-flight with that thing doing less than 4-second laps. And
Whoa.
out of that,
Wow.
out of that 55-foot loop circle we were doing, that battery literally found me and struck me right in the chest.
Wow.
And so I figured out the percentages of that, but it was probably like 1 in 500 that it would actually found me. But it did hit me right in the chest, and it wasn't much, a little bruise there, but it was safe to say at least it was a good laugh afterwards. But I could have lost some teeth over that one.
Yes, or an eye or something. Ooh, man.
Yeah.
Yes. Wow, that's
Brandon,
amazing. Now, when it hit you, was it pretty hard of a hit?
Yeah, it obviously caught me by surprise. I didn't see it coming, and so I fell to the ground like I'd been shot. And my family, there was a little bit of a hill where we fly. I was on the downside of the hill, so I crumpled to the ground and my family couldn't see where I was. So they just knew I was there one moment, then I was gone. And it was like, what in the world happened to him? So, It left a little bit of a mark, but it wasn't anything major.
Yes.
5-ounce batteries traveling 55 miles an hour tend to leave a mark.
Yeah.
Yes, I bet. Well, I'm glad that it turned out that you're okay, man. I appreciate that. Oh,
Yeah,
man.
it was a learning experience to say the least. And obviously I haven't learned much from it because I still got another battery issue here where another one wants to creep out. Believe me, though, when this one started swinging in the breeze, everybody took cover and just a projectile.
Exactly.
Learn from daddy's mistake.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. Oh, man, it's funny.
All right. Now that one was funny, and this one's not really airplane, but do any of y'all fool with guns or gunpowder?
No, I haven't.
No.
I had this little can. It's about this big around and about this tall. When I bought my first house, this thing was laying up on a shelf in the basement. I took it down. I looked at it. Oh, gunpowder. Okay. I tossed it back up there, literally. Years later, I took it down and looked at it again because I thought, I want to see what, let's see what grain this is, because I started shooting by then. So I opened it up. Oh, it's old big grain. Oh, crap. This has turned to jelly. And I slapped the cap back on it and again just tossed it up on the counter. Stupidity. God looks after stupids, Anyway,
Yeah.
That jelly is called nitroglycerin.
Yes.
And years later again, I decided my girls were 10 and 13 years old, I think. And we had this poplar stump in the backyard, about 3 feet across and it's about 4 feet tall. Well, I poured kerosene on this thing a bunch of times and lit it and tried to burn it. It wouldn't burn out. It had a hole about yay big around in the middle of it, about that deep. So I got the bright idea. It's 4th of July. I'm going to take this can of gunpowder and I'm going to put it down there. And I just popped the cap open and threw it down, And I took a piece of model rocketry fuse about so long and I shoved down in it. I lit the fuse and I told the girls next door and my girls and the kids down the road, y'all come on, we'll just watch it just fizz and make a big thing. So I lit the fuse and I stepped back and then something hit me. Wait a minute. I remember reading something about jelly and gunpowder. Let's back up a little bit. We backed up about 50 feet. And let's get behind the car. We got behind my wife's Vegas station wagon. And that thing went off. It didn't go. It went kaboom. All 6 of us are on the ground with me on top of most of them, trying to keep them from getting hurt. My neighbor who lived behind me was my fishing partner. He come out of the house. Philip, what in the hell have you done?
Yeah, right.
I said, good grief. Yeah, there was no question it was me. But I looked down there, I looked at Mike, and I'm looking for my poplar stump. It's now a 4-foot hole in the ground.
Wow, that was quite an explosion.
It was quite a boom. There's a big chunk of it, about this big, landed on Mike's house, about 60 feet behind me. It's further than that. It's over 100 feet behind me. Landed on his roof, smoldering. It's a wonder we didn't hurt somebody for sure.
I know.
But anyway,
it is a wonder.
Oh, Lord. I've done some dumb things, Bubba. Let me tell you. Whee. Good Lord looks after fools and children, and I
Yes,
sure
it
qualified
does.
on that date. Let me tell you. That
Hey,
was one of
Mike.
the dumbest things I've ever done. How are you, Mike?
I might.
Hey guys, setting up my computer here.
And John, how are you, John?
John.
Hey, John.
Hey, Brendan, in the chat, Mike Lonke said that he likes your Packers shirt.
Well, thank you. I just
No,
wish
I didn't. No, I didn't.
I thought I'd take the high road.
I said I like the show. Brendan's Packer shirt, not so much, is what I said.
Oh. So am I going to guess correctly? Are you a Lions fan?
No, I can't admit that in public, and especially not on a live show that's streaming to the internet, man. Come on.
I'll tell you what. Frankly, even though the Lions are in the NFC North with the Packers, it's like the Browns. How can you root against the Browns or the Lions? It's like kicking a dog.
It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. I have my hometown, what do you call it?
Tennessee Titans?
Well, no, my dedication and, my, what's the word I'm looking for?
Favorites? I don't know.
Not my
All the
favorites. God, I can't even think of the
Your home
words.
team?
Well, yeah, you know, your hometown guys that you root for, man, that you're sympathetic to and loyal to. Your hometown loyalties. That's the word. I
There
was
you
looking
go.
for.
There you go.
But
I was
I'm not
thinking
I'm not a huge sports guy, so it really doesn't matter to me in the big picture. You know, I mean, I'm a Wings fan. I'm a Tigers fan. Don't really care much about football. But you know, if they were going to the Super Bowl, I'd buy a shirt probably.
Sure.
You know.
So Tom Ramel, he says the high temperature today was 42 degrees Fahrenheit.
Ours was 78.
Unbelievable. Yeah, we were 79 yesterday here in Nashville. If it wasn't so windy, we would have went flying. But it was we've been
That's the way it was
flying
here.
kites for the last week. We've just
That's the
been
way it was
flying
here,
kites for about 7-8 days. We've been busting out all the stunt kites and the foils and all that stuff and flying those. I put down 90 bags of mulch yesterday.
Wow.
Because we couldn't go fly. Well, it's not that hard, you know.
I'm
They're
still
in
trying.
bags, one
I'm
at a
still trying to
time.
get my stuff done that you did last fall. I've still got to trim the rose bushes again. Didn't trim them.
Oh
short
yeah.
enough. Well,
I did that. I trimmed the boxwoods yesterday. Put down my 90 bags. Now, what I didn't tell you was my 90 bags of mulch has been sitting there for 2.5 weeks. They've been. I stacked them up all around the house, and I haven't touched them in 2 weeks because we had all the rain and all the other stuff. But we were planning on flying this weekend, but it has been. I mean, it was gusting. It was steady 12, gusting to 18.
Wow.
So we
Yeah,
had no chance of flying. And just playing with kites, and I decided to get some yard work done instead of that. So
I got this big kite in the basement. It's my grandson's kite, but it's a biplane, and I got that thing out and thought I was going to lose it. I had it up all the string I had. It's quarter mile high in 3 minutes. It took me half an hour to get the darn thing back.
Wow.
I said, that's too much wind.
Huh.
I lose this kite, my grandson will kill me. And my little grandson is 26, and he's bigger than me. He's the one that lifted my John Deere tractor up out of the ditch and set it down and said, Papa, come on. I was going to get my truck and pull it out. He just picked it up and carried it out. He wrestles concrete for a living. In fact, he's on his way to Denver. Ooh.
well, we've been flying a lot of foils and two-handled stunt kites, and a friend of mine was through recently and gave Sam something called an Atom 140, and I'm not. It's a foil.
Wow.
It's parachute
Yeah,
foil.
yeah,
Well, no, that's not
careful.
the size. It's just an Atom 140 is what it's called, and it's
Yeah,
only
that's
it's
nice.
probably 3.5 feet or something like that. But Sam was out there doing square eights with it, man. He's flying a stunt pattern with it. He's flying square eights. He's doing vertical eights. He's doing hourglasses. Now it doesn't translate because it's got two loops, toggle loops that go on your hand. So you're doing this.
Right.
But he's still out there making shapes and making maneuvers with it.
You got to make a
Because
flying
I caught
handle.
him more than. Yeah, I know.
I made
know
a flying
I need
handle
to do
for mine. It works amazing.
Yeah, I was just
Sure.
talking about that too.
Huh. Well, that's pretty cool. Hey,
I
man,
actually have
go ahead,
one
Mike.
of Bob Mears. I'm sorry. One of Bob Mears. His wife Arlene makes combat stunt kites, and they're very tiny. They're only like 18 inches deltas, but you fly them on a hot rock on 52-foot lines. Like literally.
That sounds cool.
That is cool.
She's made them and designed them to fly on a hot rock on 52s, but they take a lot of wind because it's a pretty small delta kite. So you need steady 15, and steady 20 is even better. But these things, man, they just and you just treat the nose like the engine of the airplane. So when you're coming around, up is up and down is down. You treat the nose as the front. So
Exactly.
go ahead, Charles.
Hey, Lynn, I saw the thread on Stunt Hangar about the Tudor ribs.
Yeah, I'm still working on that. John Paris has an actual kit buried somewhere in his basement and he's going to give me some tracings for it in the fall. And so when he does, I'll send you a set of them, as well
Okay.
as anybody else who wants them.
Oh, very cool.
I'd like
Now-
to say that myself.
Now, Keith Miller
Yes.
sent, like, he did some drawings on there that he made up something on there. And I checked them out tonight. The root was absolutely perfect, but the tip is out by 5/16 of an inch to the kit plan. Now, it might be perfect to the actual drawn plans that are out there, but it's not accurate to the kit plan.
Okay.
Now, like you, I have the kit plans for that airplane. So I want to make a set of ribs that are accurate to the kit plan. So when I get those rib templates from John Paris, they should be perfect.
Now they were 5/16 too large.
The root was perfect,
Right.
but the tip was 5/16 too large. You could work with that and monkey with it to get it accurate if you wanted to do it that way. But I mean, if John has those actual ribs, I'll get the actual ribs.
All right.
What are you gonna do?
But the reason why they're big,
Take it down.
Somebody's making all the noise.
it's Cheyenne. I'll mute him.
Forget it. Just forget it.
Cheyenne, I don't know why your mic is so loud. I turned off your sound, Cheyenne, so when you're ready to speak, you have to unmute your mic, all right? But your desk is so loud every show. Even when you drag your ruler across the table, it's louder than the chalkboard. The chalk on the chalkboard. It's amazing. But anyways, Lynn, what I want to say is that the reason why it's 5/16 too big on the tip is because he took that from a Tudor 2.
No, he sent two downloads. The one download was for the Tudor 1 ribs, and the other one was for the Tudor 2 ribs.
So
He
Charles,
sent two
I guess I
sent
don't have to
two
worry
sent-
about you hearing me. Sorry.
What's that, Ryan?
I said I don't have to worry about you hearing me.
No.
Oh, we hear you.
No, we can hear you.
We can hear you.
Yeah.
Good mic.
And you might not want to flagellate, even if you think it's a quiet one, we'll probably hear it.
I have a little show and tell for you guys. If you guys want to see how I terminate my lead outs out of the Kevlar lead outs.
Oh yeah.
Len, were you done talking about the Tudor 2 ribs and stuff? You guys.
Well, I just wanted to say that there was two downloads, one for the Tudor 1 ribs and one for the Tudor 2 ribs. And the one for the Tudor, I didn't even look at the Tudor 2 ribs because I'm not really interested in building one of those. But for the Tudor 1 ribs, the root rib was absolutely bang on to the kit plan. And I'm not being critical. All I'm saying is that the tip rib doesn't match up with the plans. It's 5/16 too long. So that's fine. I mean, to the hand-drawn plans, it may be perfect, and that's fine. But I want to get one that's accurate to the actual kit plan. So when I get those rib templates from John Paris, they should be perfect.
Yeah. Go ahead, John.
Okay.
How can you match up to the kit plans? They don't show the tip rib on the plans.
I know they don't, but they have a top view of the wing. There's a top view of the wing. All I do is measure the length of the rib on the top view. The root is absolutely perfect. But
take your root rib, scale it down to the length that you want your tip rib.
Yeah, I understand that. I can do that, but I don't want to get into doing that. It's easier for me if I can just get the ribs copied for me and have them perfect right off the bat.
All right.
Yeah. Okay. All is good.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I could do it that way if I wanted to. I mean, I could fudge it and move it around to get it accurate, but then I'd have to make all the other ribs accurate as well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which
all
airplane
right.
is this we're talking about now?
We're talking about the Tudor, the Top Flight Tudor kit.
Oh, okay, okay. That one, yeah, that one does change. That's one you can pretty much use the root rib and just draw your center point front and back, and just take the root rib and lay it down there, and the tip rib is pretty much the same thing, best I can remember. Seems like I drew a set of those, and it seems like I just used the root rib and drew every one of them, and it worked.
Okay. But like I say, John Paris has an actual kit still kicking around in his basement.
That'd be the way to do it.
Yeah, and he's going to trace those ribs out for me in the fall and send them to me, and then anybody who wants them, I'll send it to them or whatever.
That'd be awesome.
Sounds
Man.
neat.
Okay,
I look forward to it.
Okay,
That's
I'll
great.
make copies and send them out to anybody who wants them.
Yeah, you could just email it to me, when you get a chance. When you get it.
Yeah, I can do it that way too. That works easy, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. So looks like well, right now it's what time is it? It's 7:19. So shortly we'll let Tryon do his show and tell.
For sure.
Hey, Mike got on a minute ago and was talking about the different kites and things that they've been into. So I brought out my rockets here. So my kids, I've never been into model rocketry, but I bought a couple. And wouldn't you know, I think 3 of the first 6 flights landed in trees and had heroic efforts with ladders, and me being the 280-pound guy that I am up in flimsy trees that I should never be.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, so this is one of the kit rockets that we got. And then my wife got online and just kind of figured out, hey, you put together construction paper and just various things, and you can just put a rocket engine up there and get them in the air. So my kids, they made about 8 of these things over the weekend, and we just had fun shooting these things up, and they got lost in trees. So be it. These are $20 a piece. This is nothing. And we just had fun shooting these things up in the air. And if they got lost, again, no big deal.
I tell you what,
Excellent.
if you go to
Rockets are fun. We got a rocket box, and we got like a half a dozen of them, A through D size stuff.
Yeah.
We like playing with them, but I'll be honest, it's like a one time a year deal. We get the rockets out and go do it.
Yeah.
Because rocket motors are so expensive now.
Yeah.
Like a 3D size engines is $20 for my D size stuff. That's $7 a shot, man, for D's. Yeah.
Whoa.
And even C65s and stuff like that are still like $15. It's $5 a shot for a C motor. The A's are the best bang for your buck. You get a pack of A's that's $3 a shot for A's, but then you're only going 200-300 feet, with the little ones. We like the big D stuff, and not necessarily for altitude. I mean, I have some D rockets that'll go 1,800 feet, but we like the Big Daddy D size rocket. It's a short, squatty, big fatty, and it only goes like 600 feet, but it's just big and slow. It's like
it's like a trash can.
Yeah, it's like shooting a trash can in the air, right? Yeah. But $7 a pop. So I go to Hobby Lobby sells all the rocket engines, Brendan, if you're not familiar, and they do a 40% off coupon at Hobby Lobby. So throughout the year, every time we go, I'll get like one pack of motors, like for 5 or 6 trips, so that we got enough to make a day of it. But you could spend $100 easy in a day shooting rockets, man.
Yeah, no joke. Now, what I'll say is I don't know what your Hobby Lobby does, but the coupon on it says you can't use it on Esta's rocket stuff. So,
I've been
gotten away with it or what? But
I have. I don't pay full price on Estes rockets, man. I get them at 40%, and my Hobby Lobby even sells Gillows laser cut kits. They carry the Gillows models, and I buy those. I buy those because with a 40% off coupon, I can rebay them, especially like the big Lightning and the big Mustang and the B17 and all that stuff. You know, that's still a $60 kit now these days, even at Hobby Lobby. But you get it 40% off. You throw it on eBay, bam, you make a little money. You know, you got to hustle here and there still. I do anyway.
Yeah,
You know?
I'm doing that too. Hey, Tom Ramel on the chat, he says, Estes engines used to be 25 cents each.
Yeah.
When I was a kid.
Wow.
I guarantee you, I can go in my Rocket Box right now and pull out a package of D's that are $19.99 for 3D motors.
Yeah, I believe you.
And then forget about E's. You know, they have E's now that fit in D's. Those are like $27 for 3 motors.
How far
So
do
it's
they
just a
go?
longer-
Halfway to the moon?
Well, it depends on the size of the rocket you're putting it in. You know,
Wow.
it depends on the size of the rocket.
Goodness.
Holy cow.
Hey, John, you all right?
Yeah, I got a part of a popcorn shell stuck in there. I'll be right back.
No, that happens to me sometimes too.
Hairball.
Yeah,
That's what I was going to say.
I got this one, Len.
Wow,
And
look at
with
that.
A D, with a D, it'll go 1,800 feet with the biggest
That's
D.
phenomenal.
But with the E
Well, you know-
motor, it'll go 2,500 feet with the biggest E motor. Now, we've only shot this twice with D motors, and we
Okay.
got it back both times. But
Yeah.
let me tell you, 2,000 feet on this thing, you know, and you don't do
You may never
parachute.
see it again. Yeah.
Right, you might never see it again. You do streamer recovery on
See,
them.
this is what happened to me with my D's. I had a bunch of D's back in the 90s. I lost them all. I said, I'm not doing this anymore. It was getting too
Right.
expensive.
Right.
Every time I pumped one up, it's like, well, I can't see it anymore. I never saw it again.
Well, not only that, this is like a $29 rocket kit. This is a $30 rocket, man. And you could lose it the first time, you know?
Yeah, plus a
Rocketry's
$5
expensive.
engine. Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Geez,
So
you
I
have to
got
find a
out. I
motor
stopped
for that.
doing it.
Rocketry's expensive. The bigger you go, the more they cost, the bigger chance of losing them. You know, the A's and B's, we shoot those in the backyard, the little ones, because they'll come down
Yeah,
somewhere.
they're fun. Yeah.
And they're good, but it's still pricey. It's
Yeah.
pricey. You think glow fuel's
For sure.
expensive. Go buy a day of motors for shooting rockets.
Exactly.
Hey, Tryon, we're actually getting pretty crowded here. We have Howard Rush, Mark Lumen, and Peter.
Hello, Howard.
Peter's here, so this might be a good time for you to do the show and tell, if you're up for it now.
Yeah.
Mark's looking good tonight. Looks like you're feeling better.
I am.
Good deal.
Better every day, buddy. Better every day. Still, yeah.
So, Howard, I want to warn you, Howard, don't watch this show and tell.
Is Howard here?
Oh, 11.
Yeah, Howard's here.
Why shouldn't he watch?
He doesn't care for Kevlar for some reason.
Oh, okay.
What I said.
We can't hear you, man.
Won't matter this year if that proposal passes. Materials
Your
and
mic's muted, man.
won't matter.
Can you
Perfect.
hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, go
Okay,
for
cool. So I was just making a simple loop. Obviously, I don't have no eyelets, none of that stuff. You actually don't need that stuff. So I'm doing the wrapping just the way you normally would wrap something. And I'm just going in one direction first, just like this.
What are you wrapping it with? Copper?
Yeah.
Okay.
Really doesn't matter what you wrap it with.
Yeah, 26 gauge or 28 gauge.
Just normal copper, like the same stuff you use for your to wrap your lines, whatever that is. I can measure the diameter of it, and then we can figure out what kind of gauge it is.
It's okay. If it's a regular one, it's either 26 or 28 gauge. Just
It
for our
really-
audience to know.
Yeah, and actually, it really doesn't matter, as long as you have something in there. So, because it's tied to the plane right now, and I can put a little bit of pressure on it, so I can wrap it around. Obviously, this is far more flexible than your regular line. that wants to bounce back and stuff like that, or it stays a lot straighter over here. So this kind of flimsy a little bit, but no big deal. So I'm wrapping about half an inch over here right now, and I'm going to do something that's exactly the same thing that you do usually when you do your lines, right? So after you do that, what do? You just take this back, right?
Right.
Yep.
Just put it forward and keep
go the other
wrapping
way.
it. Yeah,
Yep.
go the other way. Just, this is nothing changed from what you normally do, other than, the eyelet is missing. You don't need an eyelet.
Oh, you don't need an eyelet, eh? Oh, wow.
No,
Yeah,
you
I
don't.
guess not.
No. And
That's cool.
so what I'm going to do here for now, I need to, obviously, I have my leaders plenty long, so I don't have a surprise. So I'm just going to cut this end off with anything. I mean, just have to cut it off. And sometimes they can be a pain in the ass to cut off, but that's Kevlar. Kevlar doesn't like to break. It doesn't like to cut at all. So that's that. I'm going to cut this end of the wire here. I'm not sure. You guys seeing okay over there?
Oh, yeah. Great shot.
Yeah.
All right. So, yeah. So here we go. I'm going back forward. Now,
what is that Kevlar? What's the weight on that Kevlar? Is that 300 pound?
This is, I think it's 150 pound.
150 pound.
Here comes Jim Smith, you guys.
And it's about 1/16 of an inch diameter, maybe a little bit more. But no, it's not a 16th. It's probably 30,000, 40,000. It's similar to the same size that you already use on the with the steel cables, right?
Yeah.
And so, yeah,
I
it's
just
a
have
little
to
bit.
order some. The reason I was asking, I've got a plane I'm going to use that on.
Yeah.
I've got to order some for it.
So it might be a little bit fuzzy over here. You really don't care about that a whole lot. But yeah, here we go. So I'm kind of done. I'm going to just cut it a little bit extra. And I'm just going to roll this wire around just to finish it. So there you go. This is the lead out now.
Very nice.
Kind of like a loop. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this guy here. And let me see what I find here. Yeah, that looks kind of good. So what I'm going to do, we take the lead out, and actually let me cut a piece of this because I don't need the whole thing. I'm just going to cut about a much. The whole point of this is just that you just want long enough to cover your threads. I mean your wire. So I'm just going to feed it through like this.
Right.
You see that?
Right.
And just kind of come like this. Where it hangs over it. And guys, I'm sorry, my mics are good, so bear with me.
Hope your fingers are good because that's going to get hot.
Yep. And shrink it down. Ta-da!
Ta-da!
That's neat, Trent. That is really neat.
Think. So now I'm just going to kind of find a neutral, and now I know what I want to do the other one. And I just have to do it again. Big up-de-do. Now the thing here is like if your loops are not the same, like this. Say you have a loop that's a little bit bigger, right? Okay. Who cares? You just pick your shrink tubing to a little bit higher, and they look the same.
Right.
I mean, if you're really fanatic about that,
most of us are, right?
Yeah. And
that's why we're here.
This shrink tubing is not moving anywhere. It's pretty smooth. I think it's not going to bind or snag in any way. So that's that. That's what I want to show you guys.
Very good. Thanks.
That's
Try, and
cool,
that's the
Trent.
first time I've seen Kevlar string. So where do you get that, or what is that exactly called, so I can find the equivalent?
Go to Amazon. Amazon. Look for a 150-pound Kevlar thread.
Kevlar thread. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you use for a lead out guide?
That's lead out. 150 pounds.
No,
This
lead
is
out
150.
guide. The lead out guide.
In the tip.
What's in your
Oh,
wing,
just
Trent?
normal leader with the Delrin adjustable stuff, right?
That's not super glued.
Preferably.
Oh,
So it is. It's just normal lead outs.
oh, that's not what I use, but it's not normal for me. But yeah, that'd work better than what I use.
Yeah.
Now, what do you use, Howard?
Actually, well, typically brass tubing, but I'm using some plastic stuff now. Little holes.
Okay, but you move the eyelets out and
You move
readjust.
the
Yeah,
outlet and stick it in another hole.
right. I do that also. Half my planes are that way. The other half have a slider.
I prefer these guys because they have a screw and a nut. They're not going anywhere. I saw those. I saw the other style, but I'm not sure how much I trust them because they can come out at any time. I mean, there's nothing that's holding them permanently other than friction. So
Yeah, but mine never came out, and it's a nice tight friction fit. And the only problem I've had is that the stainless steel lead outs actually cut the eyelet, the brass eyelet. It cut it. It actually cut it and put a slit in it.
wow, yeah.
And it didn't go all the way through, but it's like I have to be careful when I move it to make sure that it's not at an angle, so that I don't make any more of a slit.
Yeah. Well, for your information, what I did here, it's obviously the plane original didn't have an adjustable lead outs on it. And you can also do this on a twister as well. I just took the tip rib and I just cut a slot in it.
Right.
And then I installed the lead outs in it. So I have no slider on the other side. Actually, it's the plywood, the face plywood that serves that purpose in here.
That's neat, Trent.
So that's what I've done here. But just I think this is about as simple as it gets.
I kind of like the minimalist approach. I tend to overcomplicate things too much, and that's very simple.
And now the thing is, like, I can do like this with my wing and drag it around. It really doesn't matter. This is, as soon as put tension on it, it's going to stay nice and straight. It
doesn't kink.
You have none of the problems, the kinking problem that you have with a solid wire at all. And these guys are each rated for 150 pounds. Each one of them can hold me by themselves. So, okay.
Hey, very good. Thank you very much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Any guys who like fly fishermen or tie flies? I've been wrapping my lead outs with one of the tools for
bobbin, right?
I have one of those.
Yeah. And I for me it just works great because I'm kind of fumble fingered lots of times with it, but this you can really control it, and get it tight.
It's really good. I use a magnifying loop as well. I have really nice when I make my lines. They're really pretty. I mean, the wrapping is really nice. And then I invested in Tom Morris's line wrapper jig.
Yeah, I have one too.
But I raised it up about at least an inch because I have big hands, so I could clear it easy. And
I haven't seen one of those. What is the jig? I've read it, but I haven't seen. Is it just so you can get equal lengths, or how does that work?
It just makes it.
Oh, here we go. Here's Mike Lonke. Do you see Mike Lonke's?
Hey, Mikey. Okay.
Don't call me Mike.
He won.
Nobody calls me Mikey.
Yeah.
Okay, Mikey. We're not going to call you Mikey.
Yeah.
I'm going to see you at some point, right, Troy?
Say it again.
And we'll be face to face at some point, right?
Sure.
So this is a
Sure, Mikey.
Commore's line wrapping jig.
Right.
That's
Oh,
neat.
dude,
That is very neat.
you need to stop. They gave these away at the 30th anniversary of the Huntersville contest. So
Oh, cool.
will give us a little chance to pinch Huntersville again too. This October will be the 35th anniversary of Huntersville.
Yep.
So they'll be giving away really good prizes for anyone who finishes, anyone who places in the top 3. And they gave these away for first place people, line wrapping jigs. And of course, that was not me flying first place basic flight. That was Samuel that was flying that back in 2016. But they made a trophy out of it. They presented that as a trophy.
Cool.
So I
Awesome.
still haven't figured out how to use it. I don't
And that
use
was
it. I've never used it. I don't use it because I crimp my lines, and you can all cringe when I say that. I know you will, but if I can fly Nelson 36s in fast combat at 130 miles an hour on crimp lines, my crimp lines will work just fine on stunt. So Charles or somebody else may be able to explain how to use it. I don't know personally because I haven't sat down and figured it out.
Well, yeah.
I
So,
use one
anyways,
all the time. I've been using one for years.
Yeah, there we go. That side. So, boy, it's tricky when it's reversed for me. Let me see here.
Well, it looks like this little guy comes up and moves too up here.
Yeah, you don't need more about that. You just the screw there, where your fingers are at. I put an eyelet there. No, where the cap socket screw is. Yeah, there. You might as well tighten that wing nut. But anyway, so I put the thimble underneath that cap socket screw.
Yeah.
And the wire is arrested on the other side of the jig, in between the rubber and the wood. It's
keeps it tight. Yep.
Yeah. And so and then once you have it kind of snug, then I use the wing nut down below you, Mike, on there, and I actually can adjust the tension. Yes. So now I have a nice tight, and I kind of have it kind of snug at first. I get a couple windings, and then I actually really wrench it down, and then I can. Then it's pretty static. But I use that in combination with the bobbin that Mark showed, and it's a trick setup.
Oh, there you go. I got you. So
take that out.
Got this all the way out.
Yeah. Now take
thimble, clamp your line. Once your line is clamped here, then you can use that to pull it back and keep tension on the line.
That's
and then
it.
you can
You got it. No, you got it.
Oh, thanks for the explanation, Charles. I might try to wrap some lines, man.
Now, you know what I did to mine to even trick it out more is I forgot what they're called. It's like for a table saw fence, it's like a clamp. It holds you put holes inside, and this clamp goes into the wood, and it clamps that to my table really nice. I have to show you that. But
I guess this part, because you said clamp that down, I guess you get it set up with 2 thimbles so that you can
you can do it at 90 degrees.
Well, see, they're 2 different sizes.
No, it's actually 2 different sizes. So one's for like the one side that does 15 and 1800 inch lines.
You're right.
Smaller lines,
right.
1200 or even 8000s.
There you go. You're right. Yes, the screws are different, so they hold different grommets. I call them grommets, or are they thimbles? I don't know.
Same difference.
They're grommets.
Same difference.
Okay, but I get it now. Now I get it.
All right.
Yeah, it works real easy once you get used to it. That's the way I do it all the time, but that's what I've got, so that's what I use.
Hey, hey, Mike, I need some extra practice with that double surgeon's loop. You want to try that again tonight?
I'm never going to live that
down, man. Mike's going to hurt you.
Get you feeling rappy.
It's not a double surgeon's loop. It's called a modified surgeon's knot.
There you have
it. Well, whatever you call it.
This is where you want to be when the baby Jesus comes back, kicking poor old Mike Lonke, making fun of him.
Only from the distance.
So what's
Oh,
the trick of making the lines even? If you're doing them one at a time, it seems like you could make them. If you had like for a lack of words, like a double barrel line wrapper, is.
Where you mark them. Use a Sharpie. Put your mark where you want it.
True. Yeah.
What I do
So
is
that's why you guys should all try to make the Huntersville contest in October, because they're going to give away really cool prizes. I don't know if it'll be line wrapping jigs this year, but Will Davis and those guys do a really good job to make sure there's good stuff. And they, like I said, they try to make trophies out of the prizes. In combat, Howard gives it away brand new Russian ready to fly speed limit planes. First prize gets a brand new motor with an airplane, and then second, third gets an airplane. They have a loser's bracket that you fly off in to get an airplane, and they pretty much drain the club treasury every 5 years to give away cool stuff.
That's
I'll
awesome.
definitely make it cool. But by then I may even have 2 legs at work, so that might even be good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you can always go whip up on the kids in basic flight, man. There's no. It's your first. It's your first contest. It's your first contest.
Good stuff. Yep.
I didn't get to see him tie those knots. Did you do it right, Mike?
Hey, that's pretty good. That's
I
good
don't
enough.
know. I don't know what kind of knot he put on there, so I wasn't paying attention.
An AMA wrap, how you wrap lines, how you terminate lines.
Oh,
He
he wrapped them.
Oh, okay.
The modified surgeon's knot.
Oh, Jim, man, I hope we get all those combat planes together for King Orange this fall.
You can get me, man.
We're going at it.
Anyway.
We're going at it.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, that'll be a good time.
Hey, I found that my first use for that stuff that you sent me, that tubing. It's really nice. You get to see it right there.
Let me make you big, Jim. Ooh, what is that?
Oh, wow.
This is I'll show you how it works. This is a fiberglass cane pole, and it's used for a flag, windsock kind of thing.
Okay.
But it has a loop in it at the top, metal loop. But the problem is that the clips, when they go in there, they'll only rotate about 180 degrees, and if the wind changes more than that, then the ribbon will start wrapping around the pole.
Right.
So Wayne and my buddy Dave challenged me to. Dave had his way; he did it, and my brother challenged me to come up with a way to do it where it won't do that. So what I did is I have the tip here, and I put a washer. I put your tubing on there, and I put the washer. Then I just take these are real nice clips. Wayne found these somewhere. They got real ball bearings in them.
Oh, wow.
And the little loop just slides over. And then I take one of these, which are the little caps.
Yeah.
And it's a nice tight fit on this piece of carbon. The carbon goes in, and that loop that's in there, it lays right in the middle of the line, but it sits on that flat area. And so you just take this and put it on, and then you can rotate this thing 360 degrees.
Oh, very cool.
And then hopefully it goes back in the tube. That'd give me too much trouble. I'm sure it will. So it just slides back in the tube, and then my tube has a cap on it. And then this is the rest of the tube. It's all collapsible. And if you want to see the ribbon.
How long is it, Jim?
You know, I'm not 100% sure because Dave made this up, but it's a really good place to get ribbons. Maybe Mike even, well, I'm sure Mike's used them before. Let me unwrap it.
Are they tie-back?
I think so. That what he does is he goes to the Dollar General store and he buys tablecloths, and it's like this plastic material.
Oh yeah.
And you can, it's going to be cheap, and it's probably like 1.25 inches, 1.5 inches wide, and then at the end, I'll unwrap it for us here. It's just a combat setup, it's pretty much what it is. God, it's long, I know that.
Heard that.
Yeah, you just need to go.
Oh, my mic's on.
Well, one thing we know, nobody's safe tonight.
What now, Philip?
Nobody's safe tonight. They're giving everybody a hard time.
Okay, so he just takes a piece of cardboard on each side and he staples them together, puts a hole through it, and it's doubled up inside. And then you just take this piece and you just put it around that little clip that I just stuck in there. And then you just run this pole up and, it should go around 360 now without wrapping around the pole.
That is very cool.
How long is your pole when it's fully extended?
It's 12 feet.
12
Here, let me
feet,
see.
okay.
I'll try to put it together.
It should say on the base of it. That's a fishing rod, so it should say on the base of it.
It probably does. It is a 16-footer.
16 foot, okay.
Yeah, and they were looking at, Dave had some PVC of some kind out there. And he was putting the stand for this fiberglass pole into the PVC. So
what you can do if you have a field that you fly at all the time.
Yeah, we have these posts in the ground.
Yeah, go to Lowe's and get one of those caps that you put on it. Then when you get there, open the cap up, but make sure it's ground level. Open the cap up, put the pole in it, and when you leave, just take the pole out, put the cap back on.
Yeah, we just Velcro these around the pole.
Oh, you got a pole that stands up. Okay.
Yeah, cool. It's a square piece of. It's a 4x4 with man, that's a hard son of a gun to get in there. Okay, here we go.
Howard, we have to bury everything, or somebody will tear it up for us.
Yeah.
Trying to get the 4x4 guys not to drive over it is a chore.
Yeah, we were just trying to come up with something because we didn't want to have to dig holes and do all that. So because we have these poles already there, it worked out pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Howard used to bring one to the contest, but it had like a silver tape to it that was real flexible. You could tell when the thermals are starting to build. It was that flexible. It just would.
Yeah, this stuff's pretty flexible. It's thin as can be.
Yeah, but I mean, his was only like a half inch in width.
Yeah, I guess you could make it skinnier, but
it's
you can
a
see
1
it's.
mil Mylar.
What was it, Howard?
1 mil Mylar. It's 1 inch wide. I got it at the surplus store. So I don't know what it's used for, but we got a mile or so of it.
I always thought it worked pretty good.
Yeah, it works. It works fine. It has reflections, and that annoys people, so I spray it with fluorescent paint.
Where'd you buy that stuff at, Howard?
at a local surplus store. Thing.
Okay.
The pole is Cabela's a crappie rod.
Yeah.
And they come in 3 different lengths, 16.5 feet and middle size, I think.
Hey, Jim,
Yeah.
if you would like another idea for ribbon for a windsock,
Okay.
something that we used to do on the drop zone all the time, we had windsocks all over the place. Just spool out an old VHS tape.
Yep.
Well, I ain't got any old VHS tapes. But what I could do is I could make this ribbon skinnier. So
Well,
you
that an old VHS tape is super light.
Yeah.
It's about
It's
3/4 of an inch, and it costs nothing.
Well, you know, one of the things that you want to make sure that's happening is that you can see this thing.
Well, I understand that, but the heavier the ribbon is, if the wind goes slack, it can still go around the pole. But when you have a super light ribbon, and you can tie 2 or 3 or 4 of them, you know, an inch or 2 apart, and they'll almost always, even with 1 or 2 miles an hour of wind, they won't lay up against the pole and take a chance on wrapping around the pole. The ribbon's always going to be away from the pole.
I don't think this one can wrap around the pole. I'm rotating the cane pole 360 degrees right now because of the way this tip is done. You know, it's got the washer that keeps it from going down to where it could get hung up. And it's the small end of the clip, and then it's on a piece of carbon, and then this.
Yeah, I feel you. I feel you.
So I think it'll be pretty good for that, but certainly weight-wise. Now, one thing Dave did on his is he took a longer length, probably about another 3 feet of a different color, because we have, you know, most of our field is surrounded by trees, and so when it's dark, you know, it looks dark. So you know, these, if you don't get the right color, you know, it kind of doesn't show up very good. Hard to see what you're looking for. But
hey,
anyway,
Jim, I have a question for you, Jim.
Yeah.
How was your flying? I know you packed up your truck Friday night. Was going flying Saturday morning. How was it?
Well, the plane flew absolutely horrible, and
What?
the weather was pretty bad too.
Oh no!
There are tracer models, that the retract ones, that we had lots of problems with, but we did an experiment on Wayne's, and he had taken a router with some balsa, and we had rounded tips on ours. And so what he did is he just took that down to a point. So instead of having a, you know, totally flat stab, I mean, it's one of two things. We're going to find out at the next time we go, because he took these pieces of balsa and he just masking taped them onto the front of the stab. Well, that seemed to do a whole lot better because it was having a problem. They've always had a problem hunting. So we played around with it for a few flights before the weather got bad. And then we adjusted the CG because that, you know, we went from one end to the other to find what seemed to be about right. And then when we adjusted the lead outs, they probably had to go back, you know, 1.25 inches, something like that. We took the weight out of the tail, moved the battery further back, and it was actually not doing bad. And then we went back Sunday to get a couple more flights on it, and it was actually flying pretty good then. It was pretty groovy.
Groovy.
So it took 2 days, but it's flying pretty doggone good now. I think
So
what
how
I
many
have
flights do you have on that plane altogether?
What's that?
How many flights do you have on that new plane altogether?
Well, it's not new.
Oh, okay.
I've owned that thing for a long time. We took 3 of them to the Nats. Mine used to be purple, and then I changed it around the colors to update it a little bit for this one. And but we could just never get them flying very good. So that just, but we've learned a lot since we had those planes, and they just pretty much been sitting around. So I decided I was flying that SV11. So I decided to break this one out and work on it some more and see if we could come up with something. I was about the first 3 90-second flights, I was about ready to give up on it again. I said, oh, this thing is all over the place. So, hey, Philip, I got your handles.
All right.
Got 2 of them for you. Nice fit.
I'll get you a check in the mail.
I also got you a 2 bags of the clips. I think there's 12 clips. That'll be like $6. Yeah. Also, just so everybody knows, our order is in the U.S. Where it's going, I have no idea, but it's in Louisiana right now.
Oh, very cool.
I hope you have better luck with it than I had with mine.
So, but the way FedEx works, it's really hard to say.
I hate FedEx.
If you go up to Atlanta, they have a big place up there, and then they bring it back down here to me. But when it gets here, then I'll be able to tell exactly what the shipping's going to be. And I'll, Philip, you just have to get me your address.
I sent you an email. Did you not get it?
Yeah, maybe you did. My email's out of control.
If it wasn't an email, it was a text. One or the other. I sent it to you the other week.
Okay. Well, if you sent a text, I might have thought you were. Well, I'm sure you'd have put your name and your address.
Yeah, it'd be in there.
Yeah, my messages aren't much better than my.
Well, I put it in a little box up here. I put it up. Okay. I put it up here on here. See if you.
Well, it's just stuntflying@gmail. Or are you going to put it on the box there?
I'm going to put it on the box up here, but I'll get that for you in just a minute.
Okay. Hey, Trey, I got a question for you. What is Train still here?
Yeah, he's still here.
Yeah. What are you using the plain cloth for?
Oh, that's gonna be on the top and lower section of my fuselage.
Okay, and it's 210 grams. We ordered so much of the licensable goods that all the stuff we ordered, like I ordered some shears, and they had these real nice permagrit needle files, and so I ordered some of those too. But the only thing out of our whole order that was licensable, that had to do the whole export thing, was the unidirectional. But we ordered like 19 feet of it.
Mm-hmm.
So we only paid like $11.70, and then we're going to have our shipping. But we'll divvy that all up. Yeah, it was good.
We saved the money already.
Cost a lot more because you only got 3 meters. Or, so it was kind of surprising. I mean, it's not real expensive or anything.
No, I mean, their prices are very good comparing to the quantity that you're getting and the quality.
Yeah, they start really whacking that price on the quantity.
Yeah.
But that's how Steve was able to get, Steve was talking the other night about he didn't have to, he got his stuff, he could order whatever quantity he wanted. It's simply because he did not order licensable goods.
No, he did order the unidirectional, from what I know. The same thing. Maybe
You
the
think
the company is going wacko now and have different rules overnight and gonna
Yeah,
fly.
yeah. I don't know, or it
Could
could have
be.
just been the salesperson he got. But I think it's actually a new thing they're doing because they were doing that. But I don't know. But I know that there wasn't no doubt I was going to have to pay it.
Is
Yeah,
Mark
$1,500. Yeah.
Mark, are you building a twister? Busted.
You're muted, Mark.
Yeah, what you got there, Mark?
I'm putting that Banshee together.
Oh,
Oh, the
Banshee.
Banshee.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah,
I'm,
they
wait- I'm
actually
waiting. I'm
Banshee's a
waiting
good.
on.
Hey, Mark, this is for you, buddy. Remember what I was talking to you about the tail wheels? I mean, obviously,
Oh
you
yeah.
don't have you don't have to make this on any plane, but to me, it's a lot easier to do it a removable tail wheel than to do a regular tail wheel where you have to put screws, plates, all that crap in there. So I just like to make the plate, and it's very easy to be embedded in here
That's
or in the
perfect.
fuselage by just making a nice cutout and put the stuff inside. You glue it in place, and then you can. I mean, sometimes you make a tail wheel that's too short or too long or whatever, but it's easy to interchange and
Right.
and
And
put
that's
them in there. So
1/16.
what?
The music wire size is like a 16th, 1/16.
Yeah, this
Yeah,
is 1/16. Yes, pretty much the
Yeah.
standard that we're using here.
yeah.
What is
That's
it?
how it works good. We've used it quite a
The hole
bit.
disappeared.
Yeah, and I just you see, I just push it in like this, and that's it.
That's pretty neat, Trent.
It's
Yeah, that's a
very
good idea.
simple, and yeah, I know it's not to take apart. I don't need to take the wheel off or stuff like that. But this is so easy to do. It's
Oh, that's
not worth
nice.
it. It's not
And
worth
you
it.
just take, and cut the little channel in there for the shape of the wire and
Yeah, and
squeeze
Yeah.
that
you don't get
thing.
oil in
So
there.
what you do, you cut like a V shape, and
Yeah.
on the bottom you make like a little hook,
Yep.
for the front side, right? Like a
Yep.
little hook. And when you bend the wire, you bend it like a U shape and make a little hook into it too. And
Hey, Tran, is your address? You want me to ship this stuff to PO Box 12 or
no,
24?
no, ship it to my home address.
What is that?
I'll give it to you.
Okay.
Yeah, but this is the wire shape. You see that?
Yeah.
That makes
So that's
sense.
the wire shape. So obviously the box inside has like the same V. It doesn't have to be perfect, You can make a U shape for all you care, but as long as you have some kind of a notch here. So this is what holds it from pulling out, and the springiness of it. That's all.
Gotcha. That's
That's
nice.
pretty cool.
Yeah, where they come from, guys, was I got bored the other morning and made a tail wheel out of balsa and just used I used like 3/32, but it was too
That's
the
pretty
wire
cool.
was too big. Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
You
It's out
did
of
get bored,
balsa, huh?
didn't you?
And I was gonna just use like a Sharpie just to blacken it,
Yeah.
and it didn't quite work. But yeah.
What did you
Anyway,
use to darken? Good
it
paint?
it was a fun little project. Yeah.
Yeah. Is that paint or that is Sharpie for the black?
It is Sharpie.
It is. It looks good.
Yeah. Like I say, it's that's where they come from. I get some the 1/16 wire, and it would be probably better. This is probably a little thick, but it was fun. Yeah.
All right.
This same idea here, Tran. You can see.
Yep.
We got the
Oh yeah.
3 pieces of plywood. We shape ours slightly different, but it doesn't make a lot of difference.
Same.
Yeah, same thing. So this is how we do ours. Same
Okay.
kind
Yeah.
of.
Guys.
Very, very cool.
This is in that purple plane I was hammering the other night.
And
Don't
And
ever
those
do that
things,
again.
yeah, And those things are
Give me
so easy
nightmares.
to install anywhere. You can put them inside of a profile fuselage.
Oh yeah.
And the way I do that, I put my fuselage horizontal on some blocks of balsa. I put my Dremel horizontal, and I like it on top of the table, kind of like pushing the Dremel down flat, so it cannot go up and down, right? And I go inside in the fuselage, and I move my fuselage back and forth a little bit to make that slot. And if I need to make it wider, I lift up the fuselage or drop it down a little bit to keep it center, and I go back in there and just move the fuselage so you can widen the slot. And that's so easy to do. You can do it on a profile, on a full body fuselage. You can do it on anything you choose to make it on.
That's pretty neat.
Very cool. Guys, let me take a commercial break here. Hey, we had 22 concurrent viewers and only 13 likes. So if you haven't hit the thumbs up yet, please hit the thumbs up. And if you are watching this as a replay, please hit the thumbs up, hit the like button, and consider subscribing. And if you do subscribe, hit the bell with all notifications so that no matter if I'm on or Sparky's on, you'll know that we're live. And don't forget to consider joining our YouTube memberships. The membership's at $4.99. That's only 17 cents a day, and that helps the channel and helps Sparky with some of the expenses. And we appreciate that. Thank you very much for considering those things.
So later on tonight, if you guys want to see something, I'm gonna put some. Actually, I'm starting my the work on the fuselage on my Vector electric, right? So I was thinking to make like a live kind of thing during our show, and show you how I do an electric fuselage nose for a simple
I'd
plane
like to
like
see
a
that.
Vector, which can be applied on anything else, just about anything else.
I'd like to see that.
So
Good timing.
yeah. Technically, the master plan is to have like 3 formers, right? One is from nose, which is going to hold the motor on. It's one behind the motor, and one in the front of the wing. The former behind the motor and the one in front of the wing is going to hold 2 L-shaped channels that's going to be glued inside there, so the battery can drop in there and you can move it back and forth for balancing purposes.
Making a top loader.
Yeah, and you guys already saw how I mold my shells and stuff like that. So after that, it's just a matter.
How do you get to your speed control train if you glue those L brackets in?
Well, it's wide open. It's wide open, Jim, because you have. Here, I have.
You got the width of the fuselage. All you're missing is 2 half-inch pieces for those L brackets. So the rest of it's wide open. You just drop it down through there. Be a whole lot easier than mine. I did mine by the kit, and it's you got to go through the edges or shove it in the front. Either case, busy.
Okay, so if you want to make me big again, I'm gonna show a little bit of something here.
Okay.
So this is the front mount, right?
Right.
Wow, pretty.
I have the holes in here that are designed. Actually, this is the 2 layers of 1/16 plywood that I laminated them together. And because I didn't have a 1/8 inch. Actually, I had one, but it was kind of twisted and stuff like that, kind of flimsy. And I said, nah, I'm going to make something stronger. So this is the front panel. And this is the first former, which is behind the motor. Now, in these corners, I'm going to have those L brackets, right? Okay. So if you can imagine, there's just an L brackets that are about 3/8 of an inch wide. So they only go like from here. Yeah, they only go from there to about here, or from here to about here. So it's a big space of about at least 1/2 inch in between them. That's wide open. Now, the shells. If you give me a second. So here we go. The bottom shell, which is something like this, and you have this bracket that goes over here. You see that?
Yeah.
Now there's a bunch of room underneath between these and the bottom of the battery, right?
Right.
Which is wide open. I mean, the air is going to whoosh through the front and it's going to go right in here. Make sense?
Yeah.
So the idea is that I have the motor here. The wires go down, and
Sorry.
okay. So I'm going to have the motor here. The motor is here. The wire is going to go underneath on the belly of the plane, right? And that's where I'm going to put my ESC, right? And then it's going to come out around from the ESC, and the battery is right on top of the ESC, if it makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
it's just like mine.
so-
You're just going to have a lot more room.
So you have plenty of room here in between this surface and that surface for the ESC to be placed. And the battery is going to be right in here, in this area.
Okay.
Okay. So that's kind of the method to my madness right now. So this is the direction I'm going to. Because I'm blocking both ends of the L channels, they will not move up and down. They're not going to warp or do any funny business, right? So all I have to do is just go around them like this with the Velcro, so I can just clamp my battery down. And that's all there's to it. I mean, just super simple stuff. So like me, I like to complicate everything. So basically, this is the general direction in which I'm moving.
I
With
think
this
that's going to be
project.
neat, Trent.
Yeah,
It's going to work
So
well.
it's lightweight. It doesn't add any extra weight that you don't need. Tonight I want to show 11:14. Holy smokes! I have to move fast then.
The other one was on the bottom.
So what I'm gonna do on the nose, I'm gonna put some doublers. I'm gonna glue these doublers inside. So this is my weapon of choice for this, the CW30, I think it is. It's carbon fiber, and it is bi-directional, so both plus minus 45 degrees. And I'm not sure if you guys can see this.
So that's not unidirectional. That's bi-directional. Is that what you said?
There you go. There you
Yeah.
go. Right there.
Yeah.
It has the one direction in this direction, and the other one goes like this, plus minus 45 degrees. And it's a continuous fiber. That's what's going to give it strength. This is what gives carbon fiber strength, the direction in which you lay it. So since I want to get torsion in the nose, I'm going to orient it in that direction, because that's what's going to give me torsion, rigidity, right? So,
neat, Trent.
so the master plan is to put them in here on the doublers, and I'm going to bend this front of it, just between the front former and the nose ring. I need to bend it up like a quarter of an inch. So I'm going to put a quarter-inch piece underneath the front as I clamp it down and I push it down. So the idea is to do this at the same time with the doublers and the twist towards the nose. So it's going to be flat.
Can I give you a hint that'll it's not hard to do, and it'll make that much easier. If you'll take some foam, just a piece of styrofoam, and cut the shape that you want, just up, then you lay your boss in there, put your carbon on top of that, and I put plywood on top of that, which was totally unnecessary. But you could put wax paper, whatever, put the other side of that piece of foam on top of it and weigh it down. When it comes out, it's hard as a brick and it will not move. That's where in front of my impact is. And that sucker ain't going nowhere. That carbon is incredibly strong.
Yeah, especially if you use something with this. I mean, if you don't have this, many people don't have this, guys, but a piece of light fiberglass is going to work just as good, But the fiberglass, you have to orient the strands in the direction in which you need the strength. That's the key.
And you would use like regular epoxy, just or like 30-minute epoxy, or
That's all I
or
used.
epoxy or something like
Yeah.
that?
I think I
You
used
can,
45,
yes,
but
you
it's
can
no big
absolutely do
difference.
that. But if the epoxy is too thick, it's gonna give you a little bit of a trouble with it.
Gotcha.
You can add some not denatured alcohol, isopropyl alcohol, okay, but no more than 10%. If you go past that, you can start to mess up with the composition of the epoxy. Can get crazy. So I
It
would
gets
not
it where
recommend to go
it
more than
won't cure.
10%. Yeah.
If you go more than that, it won't cure right. It might cure, but it'll take days instead of minutes.
Yeah.
So what's wrong with denatured alcohol? I've used that before to thin it. It takes a while to harden up.
But it's the best is isopropyl.
Isopropyl is better. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. If you use isopropyl, is better. So
My
yeah.
question was, Tran, was the rails. I don't know what I did with them. I'm still working out there in the garage. Can you put your battery, like I have a 2 1/4 inch spinner on that? Am I going to be able to, if I glue them on the sides, am I going to be able to put my battery vertical or only horizontally?
Whatever you want to have. Doesn't
How
matter.
far apart they are, Jim?
You think those
It
will
all
come
depends
out?
on the spacing. However you want to put your if you want to put but if it was me, I would put it vertical with the cells horizontal. You know why? Because all batteries have the same width.
Yeah, right.
If you put them in this direction, go from a 5S to a 6S or something like that, you can go like stuff.
I'll just measure them and lay them in there and make sure that they'll slide on that rail.
Yeah.
And then as long as you can get into the bottom part, we can get to the ESC. So
yeah.
Yeah, you can put the ESC right underneath the battery. It's plenty of room over there.
Yeah, that's where it's.
Jim, put you some Velcro on the bottom of the airplane then, and put some on the bottom of the ESC, and just when you stick it through there, it's stuck. There's not enough G-force in one of these.
Platform.
No, just stick it straight on the bottom
and
of the
use
airplane.
like some light plywood. It's like 3/4 inches wide or something, same as Velcro. And you put the Velcro on the top of this platform, and you put the other part of the Velcro on the bottom of the ESC. And that way you can just slide it right in there and just stick your ESC right to the platform.
I mean,
that'd work.
And actually, you can use the same idea, Jim, for the battery. Put some Velcro on the battery and some Velcro on the rails. So you position your battery, you put it down, so it's not going to slide back and forth. And put the Velcro on top of it. Done.
Yeah.
Go fly.
Yeah.
That's it. Hardly difficult.
Those are nice.
Yeah.
The aluminum channels would cost so much.
I got a question. On a different subject, but I do have a question. Does anybody know what the name in German is for dragon? You know, like fire-breathing dragon.
I could have told you that years ago, but I've forgotten. I grew up speaking German, but I can't now.
Is it Draco?
Dracos. Hell, let me look it up.
Yeah, I'm looking it up now.
I can't remember for sure. I'm thinking it's. I can't remember. I grew up with German grandparents and Cherokee grandparents, and I learned to speak other languages. I would never in English.
German word for dragon is dragon.
Is dragon?
Yeah. And
really?
That's the conversion to the U.S. or English. Is dragon to dragon.
Yes, it probably doesn't translate well because they, yeah.
Well, I'm sure they don't pronounce it the same.
I think they say dragoon.
Dragoon.
Yeah, but
well, let's see.
Then that could be different parts of Germany too, because the dialects are quite different.
Yeah, there's High German, Low German.
Yeah, there's.
I don't know where Grandma was from. I don't know if she spoke.
But this is supposedly German the German speaking.
Yeah.
Dragu. That's what it sounds like.
Dragus?
That's Dragoon. What. Can you hear that at all?
Yeah, we can hear it.
Thank
Dragoon or something like that. And then,
Dragoon, yeah.
there you have your English.
Okay. Well, because somebody suggested I change the name of the Panzerflug because nobody likes to try to trip their tongue around that. So I thought I'd
Well, it
just
is
call it
now.
the Dragon, you know?
Dragon. Yeah.
Yeah, the Dragoon.
Yeah.
Well, there's already a dragon.
Yeah,
But it wouldn't hurt to be
Dragon,
another one.
because it was, oh, yeah, right.
man,
I was just thinking about that because the
that's
thought
exactly
the
the
thought
same.
was that it was a fantasy plane that was a ground assault plane and could very well be considered a Dragon with its armament coming after, ground targets.
Yeah, that'd
So,
be neat.
Unless I cover the better one, I'll probably stick with that.
Well, I got one to show y'all. I've been
All
telling
right.
y'all I had 9 airplanes I needed to paint. I'm down to 8. I finally finished something. Let's see if I can get this up and get it where everybody can see it.
Higher breathing dragon.
I don't know if this is going to work or not, but we'll try it.
Just don't break your elevator. No.
Well, there ain't much that'll break.
That looks good.
I finally finished the.
It looks like you got.
I don't know.
Man, that's
Did you put the same?
Oh, that is cool.
Did you use the same color scheme and trim scheme on that? It looks like it.
Trim scheme and color scheme. Well, yeah, it's all just red, white, and blue.
Yeah, but I mean, isn't that the same one that Baron used?
No. Baron used a red thing here. And
okay.
No, this one is modeled after obviously the Thunderbirds. I did a plane I started out this year with was a Nobler that was done in Blue Angels, number 6 to honor the Blue Angel that went down in Tennessee rather than let his eject and let his airplane go into the apartment complex. He rode it down. But this one is just, I've always been an Air Force. I grew up an Air Force brat, so always been an Air Force guy. And I finally,
That was in Nashville, Phil.
Yeah, it was. I knew it was in Tennessee, but I wasn't sure exactly where.
That looks good. That looks great.
But,
looks great.
I heard a story that said a pretty humbug was a whatever the word is where it can't be done. I've forgotten the word.
Oxymoron.
Oxymoron. The only thing I haven't got on it are the wing or the pants. I'm putting. Well, let me get them. They're not done yet. They're not painted, but I'll show you the shape anyway.
That happened on practice day, on media day on Friday, Phil.
It sure did.
They canceled the air show.
Yeah.
Ours aren't
That's
done
great.
yet either, but that's the shape of it, and it's just going to go here. I had some real nice ones done, and then I watched our little buddy do his show the other night, and he was talking about the weight of the pants, and I threw those away. Oh, I didn't throw them away; they're laying downstairs. But I decided to make these. They're much simpler and much lighter. But anyway, I finally finished something, guys. I hadn't got the wires. I got to wrap my wires yet, but that's the only thing. And it sounds like it's going to be a pretty good little plane.
What motor's that?
This is an OS 25 SF.
Now,
that motor sounds really snappy.
It is.
Yeah.
Now, Phil,
sounds good.
It's on 0 nitro.
Now, Phil,
Yes, sir.
that pencil drawing on the wall of that young lady, is that somebody you know?
That's my youngest daughter, Crystal.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's my baby. Then my oldest daughter's picture we gave to her when she got married, and her husband tore it up, got mad and threw it. Tore it up, so.
Somebody did a nice job on that pencil drawing.
I could have heard him. Yeah, that was done by an artist at Disney World. I have a cousin and his wife both worked at Disney World as caricature artists, but they did not do that. David said that he could redo Kimberly's. He'd seen a picture of it. He says, I can redo that one for you. So when I see him again, I'm gonna get him to do it, take him the picture of the picture and get him to redo it. But anyway, it's I've always been a photographer, and I always love to take pictures of a little bit of everything. But my girls have always been special, all three of them.
Yeah. Well, I noticed the pencil drawing because I used to do pencil drawings. So, it's one of those things.
I have absolutely zero talent in drawing at all. I can draw a few airplanes and a few little things, and I used to draw cars quite a bit. But as far as drawing a person, I just cannot do it. And
That's
my
very
sense
hard.
of color,
Not easy.
my sense of color is terrible. My wife, the plane that I won the most acclaim on for my color scheme was my Stinger, my first scratch built profile. My wife came up with a color scheme. It's basically yellow, black, and orange, but the layout is pretty simple.
Yeah.
And it's the plane that came out about the same time as Ted Pancer's Pancerized Twister, and mine is just I call it a Stinger, but it's really a Twister redone. It's a lengthened tail and everything. I like curves. Ted likes angles. I like curves, so I do everything curved. The first plane, the only plane I've ever done, even planned to do, that really had a lot of angles. A real good friend of mine that got me to do my first outside loop, we kept hoping was going to get to come back down here and fly with us, and he's got some health problems now. He's not going to make it. So I'm going to, for next year, one of the next planes I'm going to do will be a You Name It, and it'll be for Bob Galley. He's a neat guy and taught me a lot. He and Tommy Looper taught me to fly, so I'm going to do that for him for next year. But right now, we're just going to try to get this thing going and see how it works later in the week. The only problem I'm having, that nose gear is so far up that I'm not sure I'm going to be able to get a battery on the slow plug without using one of the old corded ones, you know. But that can be done. If need be, I'll make one up and just hang it on the outboard wheel while I run the cord over and crank the thing and then run it back around. It's not something you can't figure out. It's just make it a little inconvenient. But
Well, one of those car glow starters work, you know, the real long ones?
No, it's just about, you know, I might try that. That might work, one of those long shanked ones.
Yeah.
I might try that.
Yeah,
That
I was
might work.
showing us one of those, and that's the kind that locks on too. So.
Oh yeah, it's got to be a lock on.
Gialdini had two little holes in his fuselage, and he had wires they just plugged in. You know.
Yeah, but this one's got so much of the motor hanging out.
Oh.
Oh, one thing I didn't show you. I guess I can get it here. Let's see if this will work.
Is that plane heavy?
No, I don't know what it weighs, but it's not heavy.
He's like,
they actually fly pretty good.
I have back problems.
Okay, that's what it is. Okay.
If I move wrong, it hurts. That muffler is a stock OS Max muffler. I just carved the fool out of it, carved and sanded the fool out of it.
Oh, I was going to ask you about what kind of muffler is it. I didn't recognize it.
That's an OS Max. It's an OS Max. It's just been carved.
Nice. That's pretty sweet.
What did you use for paint on that, Phil?
This is the one this is all Econocoat. The plane was built like 20 years ago. And covered in Econocoat. And those booms are actually, I don't know if I can get them in. These are Econocoated. Fuselage is paint. Everything else is Econocoat.
What do you use for the fuselage paint?
It's Econocoat. I mean, it's that 2X I was showing y'all the other week.
Okay.
Stuff you told me about.
Oh, okay.
I used that clear coat that I showed y'all the other night. So it's got the red and the blue are both rattle can
Painter's Choice.
Yeah, Painter's Choice over the Econocoat, and then of course the ailerons are drawn in with monocoat, where the black Econocoat.
You know, it looks like your nose gear is going to be in a way of any kind of a glow starter.
It is.
Now, they used to make them, but you can make one. You know, they make remote ones that you mount in the side of the fuselage, and it has 2 wires.
There's no room in that fuselage. The reason that this, wait a minute, let me get one more time.
It's just jam packed.
The reason that the fuel lines go in the way they do, they go straight into the side of the fuel tank, is because there is no room. When the tank quits, the motor starts. That is the tightest little airplane I have ever built. I built a bunch of airplanes, but that one right there is the tightest nose section.
Yeah, that would be a good candidate for a remote button that you put your nice starter on and it has a couple wires running to the glow plug. But
what I'm thinking
I
about
don't
is
have
one
any
of
room.
those.
You ain't got any room.
What I was thinking about was one of those like Michael uses for his combat planes that clips
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
Either one of those,
Yeah.
or I got room for the one little brass ones that goes in here and clips
Yeah.
on, but it's probably going to be the combat style.
Yeah, that'll work.
Downstairs.
Yeah, that'll work.
Downstairs, and I believe I'll try it.
That should work fine, Phil.
That
I
looks
hope
great,
so.
Phil. That looks really nice.
I just hope she flies like she looks, because this one has been. I don't know. I can't believe I let the thing just hang down there for 20 years. This one on an Impact just hang for 20. Impact's 30 years old. I built it in the little house before I started building this house,
It's
and
just
never
getting
painted
good,
it.
Phil.
It's white, but it's not been painted. Do what?
It's just getting good now.
Yeah.
I had a Stingray that took me like 12
If
years.
If that had been Scotch, then you'd be happy about it.
Oh boy, I tried that with whiskey, and whiskey don't do that. Whiskey, when you let it get old, it just it loses potency.
Turns to varnish.
Yeah, it turns to something. I don't know what, but you can't drink it. And that's Crown Royal. That was good stuff, and it just went to nothing. But
You're not drinking the right kind of whiskey, then.
yeah, you're probably right. But I found something I like better than Crown Royal. Pappy Van Winkle. Straight bourbon whiskey. Man, that stuff it's expensive.
You
but
don't
it
like
is some good
Chivas
stuff.
Regal?
It's all right in a pinch. It's good, but I just like Pappy better.
Phil, you get down on some Pappy, do you?
Yes, sir.
So Sam and I were actually at the Nats, and my wife was at a business dinner with some coworkers, and texting me that she was getting to sample some Pappy Van Winkle, and she tasted it and texted me. She went, "Ew," and I was like, "It is so wasted on you. Are you kidding me?"
Oh my goodness, that's a shame.
It's $125 a shot, man, in a bar.
It's not.
Someone has a contribution here in the chat box. Gordon Hayden says, "Don't age it in glass."
Yeah.
Oh, well, I didn't know that. See, I don't know anything about it.
Thank you, Gordon.
Thank you, Gordon. I appreciate that. But
Hey, Mike, how long does whiskey age at your house?
not long. My house is either.
Hey, Steve. Thanks for coming in.
Hey, Steve.
I buy it already aged, Steve.
Oh, okay.
Hey, no joke. We went to the distillery in Tennessee and bought some, and I asked how long it was aged. They said it was bottled this morning. We sampled it that night in the hotel room. It was good stuff.
Yeah. Well, Phil, I didn't know you were such a connoisseur that you knew about the Pappy. Mark probably knows about Pappy Van Winkle. You might have been in on a bottle of that or two.
Yeah, I can't stand cheap. I can't handle cheap booze. I like the good stuff. My older brother drinks scotch, and to me, that's like drinking kerosene.
Not if you have good ones.
I have never had a good one then, because the stuff that he drinks to me tastes like kerosene. It's like dragging your mouth through briars. It's just cheap stuff, I guess. I don't know, but I can't drink it. Mm-hmm. If I could find a good bottle of scotch, I'd probably buy it and send it to him just so he'd know what the good stuff was.
Johnny Walker Blue Label.
I can see Carl right now coming with that little biplane.
Any of you ever tried to
I'm like, hurry to change the subject.
Hey, come on, Charles.
I'm just it's right here. I'm like,
I got one thing to say, Charles. Lemon Heart rum. You can run your model airplane engine on that stuff, but it's good.
I mean that.
It's like 140
John,
proof.
be careful now. You're gonna.
What do you got there, Steve? Help me out. What do you got there, Steve? You got some propellers. That's airplane.
Hey, I got my Zor propellers.
Yeah.
How did you get them? I got two 12.6s, but they're both like that. They're both wood. They said they were out of the black ones currently.
Well, the black ones are wood too. They're just painted.
I know they are, but that's what I ordered, and that's not what I got.
Oh, okay.
That's like
What size?
I got to get in touch with Brian Gardner because I ordered 3 complete sets for OS 46 LA, and I got 3 sleeve and piston sets for a Super Tiger. I'm gonna keep them. I mean, I'll pay for them, but I've already paid for them, I guess. But I want the ones for an OS because I've got OS case, crank, and front end set sitting here, and aftermarket back plates. Super Tigers. What the heck am I gonna do with them? Anyway.
What size were they for? 46s or
46s? If they were 60s, I'd be happy. Well, I'm happy anyway because I will use them probably because I have a couple of classic planes. I want to build a Mr. Sawyer all but gave me a Playboy before he died kit, and I'm gonna build it and put a 46 in it, and then the other 46 will most likely go in a. It's a plane I got downstairs. I can't even remember the name of it, but anyway, a plan I've got downstairs. But I want to build a plane from '83. It was '83 national champion for Europe. It was called the Uno, and I want to build one of those, but I'm going to modify it. He's got the thing built where it's just 24 ribs on each side, and they're full. They're ribs, full span ribs. I'm gonna build it like an I-beam. Okay. I just can't see putting that much wood in that wing. That's useless. But,
where'd you get your props from, Bill?
Trayan gave me a site to call. Sent me a message.
You don't know where they came from, though?
Let Peter in, and then Mark is next.
I can't remember. If I don't write it down, it's gone. I'm telling you. I got a memory like a steel trap, but I got real good memory, but it's real short.
I got mine from RC Hobby Solutions.
And
it was through Amazon. You got to look, keep going through. And I just got on RC Hobby Solutions. And then I could go to the size prop I wanted and the pitch and everything else instead of looking through 1,000 props to find one that you want.
Well, I got reading that article on the Humbug, and he talks about taking a 10-4 Zinger, which are extinct now, and cut them down to a 9.5, and then taper the ends. And I said 9.4, and then taper the ends. This thing's got to be turning 30,000. But I went to my hobby shop, and the guy at my hobby shop owns the company that makes Zeiss props. And that already looks pretty much like what he described.
Yeah, it's like a scimitar prop almost.
Yeah. So I ordered 2 of these. I bought 2 of these. And
Steve, here you go.
I didn't have.
Hang on, Tryon. Peter is going to speak next, and then Mark, and then Jim. I actually have a log jam.
Right, you go ahead. I'm gonna shut up for a minute.
Go ahead, Peter.
My wife says so.
And then Mark, and then Jim.
Turn your mic on, Peter.
Peter, turn your mic on.
There we go. A problem that I'm sure everybody's run across, and it's applying CA glue, especially the thin stuff. And where you have an issue is how you're going to get this or something like this into a position where you can get the glue where you need to get it.
Right.
So what you can go out, you can get. And this is 24 gauge. It's called PTFE. It's Teflon tubing.
Right.
And it's really, really small diameter.
Right.
And it's Teflon. It's generally used to insulate electrical components. And what I do with this is I have my bottle here. I just take some of this tubing, make the hole in the nozzle that it comes with, and I put that in there. And then I can turn around. I can make this as long or as short as I want. Mm-hmm. And I can maneuver that and get the CA exactly where I want to get into and apply a very little bit at a time. The beautiful thing about this stuff is CA will not clog it. So ultimately it will stay pretty much clog free. Even if you do get a clog at the very tip, what you do is just take a scissor and just give it a snip. And all of a sudden now you're free flowing with your thin CA. But this stuff is great, especially to get into spaces that you can't get a syringe into, or you just want to keep more control over the CA in your bottle. You don't want it to dry out too fast, so you're trying to unscrew a cap or screw a cap back on. This stuff is great for that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Now,
Very good. Thank you.
I use that too, Peter.
Now that is PTF or PTE. What is it?
PTFE.
PTFE, Teflon.
It also
And
works for
this is
going off
a
your
24 gauge is about the right size.
Okay, thank you.
I use 28, but you can put it over your 18 gauge lead outs, and you won't get your lead outs painted when you paint the airplane. And you
True.
just peel
Yeah,
this
it
out.
works for that as well.
You peel this off before you do your lines up.
so Peter, how do you get it to stick in the bottle?
No, but you don't have to. You just take like
Friction
a pin
pin.
or something. You just open up the plastic on the regular applicator right here, and I just shove it in.
So it's like a friction fit.
Yeah,
And it doesn't
friction
leak
fit,
out.
that's it.
The glue doesn't
Peter,
leak
there's
out.
an easier way. Okay, I can show you.
And
let me get
after
this.
that, it's Mark, and then Jim.
Great stuff. Even if you don't use it for that, this stuff is great to have around for other things, like actually putting a little bit of slick coating on your lead out wires and stuff. This stuff is great.
It's great stuff. Good
So
tip.
here's another trick, Peter.
Good tip.
Here's a
Peter.
cool, simple trick, right? Even if you have a big gap between the holes on from your spigot to the bottle,
Oh yeah, that
what you do, you take a piece of tape like this,
Yep,
and you put it around. Can you guys see this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Make it
And you
big.
go around. You don't want to have a tight thing. You just go like this. You see that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you hold with your hands and you twist the bottle around like this. and that's gonna seal both this and that. And you're done. That's it.
Yep.
Thank
yeah.
you.
Yeah, a little bit of Scotch tape works great.
All right.
Anything is gonna
tip,
work out.
good tip,
Any
man.
tape will work out.
Did someone say Scotch? What?
No, Mike.
Go ahead, Mark. Mark, save
5
us.
o'clock somewhere.
Yeah, hey,
He didn't say single malt.
Right. I've got a OS Max 20, and I'm trying to figure out what's going to be a good. And while I'm in my building mode here, and square footage wise, I want to use the engine, so I kind of want to design one on my own and kind of scratch build one. What square footage wise would be a reasonable size?
You mean
to
square
bring
inches?
A little bit
About-
bigger than an Acromaster, probably.
Or about 2.5 square feet.
Yeah, about like a ringmaster.
A little
Okay.
smaller than a Ringmaster.
Right.
maybe.
It's a 20, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be a little smaller, but we ran the LA 25 on our ringmasters.
Yeah,
before
a
that.
20 might be a little. You know what? One
300 square inches.
A good contender is the Superfly from Brodak, because I think that's made for 19 size engines. Superfly.
That's a race plane now.
That
Well,
size.
yeah, but it's kind of like a Mongoose in an Apocalypse. It's still capable of stunning. It's like a combat design. But yeah, it was made.
I redrew those plans. That thing, I disagree with you on that, Mike. It's designed. I mean, you might be able to get it to do a big loop.
Well, this is just going to be a fun thing. Like I say, I don't want to do it from a kid. I kind of want to put it together and just build it on my own, like own design. And I figured it'll go or it doesn't go. It's not really.
Look at a few designs that are 19 powered, and they'll probably tell you what the square inches are that you
Right.
want.
And what I've read, and I don't know, I'm new to this too, is what I've read that is the FP does in fact hold a little more power than a normal.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a sharp.
It's that Flight Streak twin back there. You can't see it from there. That's about a 70 to 80 inch wingspan. There's two OS 20 FPs on there, and I have looped it on one engine. I had to get the wind just right and everything, but they're very powerful. You could put that on anything. For instance, you could probably put it on definitely be no problem on a ringmaster.
Oh yeah.
Anything of that size, you could probably a Sig Skyray would be fair game for that engine. I mean,
That's
you're
what
going to be
Buck
running
says
it.
he puts
You're
on
not going to be
his.
running it in a 2.4 Drake. Say what?
No, that's what Buck has on his and what he suggests is a 20.
Mhm.
I have a 25 going on mine,
Yep.
but he has a 20. But keep in mind, a 25 is stronger than a Fox 35
Yeah.
and has better
Well,
management.
the 20's darn near as powerful, if not, than a Fox 35.
I have never run a 25, but I won't disagree. They are just much stronger motors. The first time I put a 25 on my Barnstormer, yeah, and flew it in the backyard, I kept playing with the 25, modifying it, and flew it in my backyard, and told Tommy and the guys that this thing is stronger than a Fox 35. I had just messed up because Tommy was a real Fox man. But he came over and flew the thing, and he said, "I'll be darned, I believe you're right." And he's flying OS 25s now.
Wayne had a real nice Barnstormer, and he flew that on the LA 25, which isn't much stronger than the FP 20.
Yeah, it goes FP 25, then the LA 25, then the I've forgotten what the other one. Oh yeah, FP LA, then the Brodak, in that order for power, and they're all three great motors. Now I would have argued that a few months back, but I've got a Brodak now that runs great.
Well, if Howard is listening, I'll show him something. But I show Philip something right now.
All right. Yeah, I don't think Howard's here. He might be back.
He's trying to make me jealous.
Hey, look at that.
This is a finished full body Smith Brothers handle. So what I thought I would tell you is how we finish these. We just take some spar varnish after we get these all glued on and routed out and all that. Just take a coat of spar varnish on it. Just barely knock the tops off so that it's not rough. And then you just take finishing resin. You can do it with a brush if you want. That's what usually I do. I don't try to squeegee it out real thin or anything else. I want it to kind of waterproof the balsa, because this thing's going to be laying in the wet grass and everything else. And so anyway, I just thought I'd mention that. And then I sent Howard a couple of links because he actually has some Apple products, so that even though he's let me tell you, Howard's real particular about those computers he wants me to bring. I got a hold of a Windows 7 machine. My brother was going to bring let me use a Windows 10 with Office 365, but Howard said, just leave that home.
Yeah.
Same thing on my Mac. Just leave that home. So, it's kind of funny. But we got that covered. But I told Howard what he ought to get is he needs to get some of these precious Apple Bluetooth earbuds.
Right.
They call them AirPods.
Right.
And they're about $250 for these things. They're expensive as hell. Everything Apple is precious, but it works with everything together. That's the really nice thing about it. And I also sent him some stuff on the new M1 chip that Apple, or the silicone chip that they're doing. So I was just curious if you got them.
I got them. I didn't get the buds, but I got the messages.
Yeah, you'll have to look at that M1 introduction, that silicone chip they're doing, because they incorporate everything into one chip. It's got the neural stuff for teaching how to do commands. It's got the security. It's got 8 cores of GPU, 8 cores of. They have over 1 million transistors in that thing, and it's not very big.
Everybody else.
Who in the hell got the job counting transistors in every chip?
I don't know, but I don't know who had a software.
Well, I think we're all caught up on the speaking, but there's a guy on the chat box, Dennis B, says, I could have used that tail wheel year ago, broke mine on the first landing at the Nats, had to fly within the hour, so I flew without and out of balance. I guess he meant he could have used that years ago. But yeah, that tail wheel design, removable tail wheel is a nice little thing. And Howard, I sent you an email. Did you get my email, Howard? I just sent it about 20, 30 minutes ago.
No.
With my name and address.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
It's in there.
Hey Howard, I read that whole sheet you told me about last night, the whole thing, and I'll just keep doing it, and then pretty soon I'll be tomorrow. Actually, I'm supposed to get the batteries for that Windows 7 machine, so I'll try to get it all set up, and turn the auto saves off and the auto updates and the touchpad, all that stuff, get it turned off, and then I'll start running some simulations and stuff to show you.
You can practice on anything, but at the Nats, I don't think you should have something that can get you into trouble that can't be diagnosed.
No, I agree. Hey, believe me, I don't want the thing coming up saying fatal error on my Mac either.
Yeah.
Fatal errors aren't all that good all the time.
I was going to say, I just balanced the props.
Yeah.
The 12.8 balance is perfect. Hub and everything. The 12.7 is off by a pretty good amount.
God, what
Hey,
is
Steve?
Huh?
Hey, Steve, did you try the pillow between the legs?
Yes.
Did it help?
I couldn't walk when I got up in the morning.
Oh, gee. I'm sorry.
Steve, check the chat box. I put a link over there for the eBay. They see they have it in stock.
Yeah, but they only sell them in threes.
Yes, I know. I buy them in threes.
One.
I buy them
I'll
in
go
threes.
Order 3 more. I'll go order 3 more then.
Yeah, they're on eBay right now.
I put my address in the
That
in the
RC
box
Solutions, they have them in the threes too. But I only wanted one, and RC Solutions was the only one kind of selling one prop, because I just wanted to test them on that test stand of mine.
Oh, you want to just test them?
Yeah, I want to see for battery drain on and I don't have the 12.6 because they didn't sell that in one, so I didn't get one. But I want to try like 12.6, 12.7, 12.8, and then see how many what the amp draw is for the amount of thrust. So we'll see what the difference in the RPM, but I really don't care about RPM. I just want to see what amp draw is for the same thrust. So if I pick 12.6, say at 9,200 RPM, then I get this much thrust and it's so much amp draw. Then I want to put the other props on there and then see for the same amount of thrust what the amp draw is, and not care about it. The RPM will vary, but
I get it.
Getting all scientific on us.
Yeah, I just think Tryon is right about more pitch on electric, that you use way less battery. But I got to, I'm going to prove it. I'll put it on there and see how much I use over 1 minute at a time or whatever, and then go from there. And I got a bunch of APC props, and I got some other props that I want to do all of them, and then see.
Steve, what size are you checking?
I'll check anything. I got 12s now because I asked Tryon what he used on his airplane for a 60 size. 12. Huh?
Have you heard of VESS propellers? VESS.
Yes.
That's the scimitar looking props. Do you have one to test?
No, I do not have any of that in electric.
I'll get a 12.6 and send it to you.
All right.
Because I'd like to find out how it stacks up because my local hobby shop owner owns Best Props. They
I
used to
thought
be made
Best.
in Raleigh. Huh?
Now I know people that used Best Props in the past and loved them.
Yeah, they were made in Raleigh for years, but he bought it and moved it to China like everything else. Now he's kicking himself, but
Hey, hey, Philip, if you and Trey want to put your address in the chat box, I'll write
it's
it
in there.
down.
I just did it. And by the way, Jim, look at this. Can you see this?
Oh, yeah. Would you make that pink?
No, it's red, you turkey. I don't do pink. But if it ain't red, it ain't right. Bob,
That's right.
What'd you do?
That's a wicked looking finger guard.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what'd you do? Dip that in plastic and then hold it down, and you got 3 big drips on it.
Paint. That's just my paint. I just like to paint halfway down.
No, you're talking about the finger
This
grips.
side's got-
Inside,
I got a little grip on this side for my thumb, and I put these in here. This is useless. It is absolutely not necessary because my fingers fit top and bottom, or touching top and bottom, and you just don't need it. It's a waste of time. I won't do it again. I did it once. I won't do it again. But the next one will be white. It'll be like Jim's, just natural wood. Because this is pretty, but if it gets across this thing absolutely blows on the concrete at Hobby Park. The wind blew and it slid. So it's gonna get scratched up. It weighs nothing.
Yeah, but Phil, what are you gonna do if you don't paint handles when your wife kicks you out of the main part of the house and says you need to leave for a while?
I don't know. I don't know.
Jim, I put you a private message.
Yeah.
When we come
Yeah,
to it, I guess.
I have to find private messages.
Phil, I
Probably just
paint
check
my
the chat.
handles up to match the trim colors and that on my airplane. That way I just have to look at the handle with a line. I know what, I'm going to a college, so I just grab the right set of lines easy.
Well, what you don't see on this one, when my lines, each handle goes to a set of lines, a spool,
Right.
and the spool has the name of the plane on it.
Yeah.
That's how I keep up with it. But I've only got one red handle, so it goes to this. Then, actually, this goes to the Vectra. Vector. The Vectra uses a home.
Train
But anyway,
your 841 gable gate turn.
Killing me, Jim.
Okay, well, no, that's understandable.
Well, he didn't say the state
I have one handle
or anything,
I
Tryon.
have one handle for each plane, and I used to have 2 handles for each plane because I used to have a set of braided lines and a set of solid lines for each contest model. And I had them last year. I probably won't have that again this year.
There you go,
But
Mike.
Now
Stunt Mike.
that I've gone to these brass lines, I don't need it. Oh,
there you go.
That's
Yeah, the
neat.
stunt kite, yeah.
That's neat.
Look at that giant handle, man. That is
So-
Look at that giant kite.
This is the one I was talking about that Bob Mears' wife makes. And if anyone knows Bob Mears, he's a F2D combat pilot. Him and Andy Mears, they're huge combat guys out of Texas. His wife,
Andy Mears, yeah.
His wife Arlene makes these kites, and you fly them on a hot rock. They're tiny, so they take a lot of wind. But I'll tell you what, you point the nose just like you're going around the circle and up and down. You want to get good at good reflexes and flying fast. You get one of these, and they're only like $60, maybe $70, something like that. She always makes a batch up and takes orders and brings them to the Nats every year.
Very nice.
That's
And
pretty
their
slick.
dad was a grade school classmate of Buddy Holly.
Say
How
again?
about that?
Their dad was a grade school classmate of Buddy Holly.
Oh, James Mears. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's a legend in combat, by the way.
Right.
Yes, a legend. Had a lot of big designs, lots of designs.
Yeah, I saw that video you posted, Mike, with your kids out in the front yard.
Yeah, that's all we've been able to do is fly kites for the last week because it's been so windy. So,
Well, before it was windy, it was wet. So
yeah.
I don't know about
Yes.
y'all, but we had an inch of water standing in the backyard. It was ridiculous.
You guys, we're going to be transitioning to the after party, but before we go there, Andrew Shearing says, Golden Watch comma, English slang for Scotch. And then he also says that good evening from England. Well, good evening, Andrew. Thanks for
Good
coming
evening.
in. Hopefully, you guys on the chat box, Gordon and Andrew and Dennis, I hope you're members of Stunt Hangar. Then you can find the link to come into the after party, because I'm going to end the live stream. And so just as a recap, please hit the thumbs up button. We're at 17 likes, and we've had as high as 27 viewers.
Wow.
So that's pretty good. And only have 17 likes. If you haven't done that, please do that. We will do that when we get off the show. So I want to thank everybody for coming in, and I want and thanks for the show and tell, you guys. We had quite a few show and tells. Thank you very much. Great evening. And today's Monday, so we'll come back Friday. So please go out there, have some fun, and come back and tell us about it Friday. I hope to be flying Friday, so I'll have a little bit of a flight report. And without anything else, we're going to end the live stream, and we will continue into what's called the after party. And sometimes the after party is better than the live portion of the stream. So